think majority of Arsenal fans were over-exaggerating over the weekend's result against Nottingham Forest, because yesterday we could clearly see how Arsenal can actually play in Europe, or how Arsenal do play in Europe. And that literally got me thinking, maybe I should actually check the stats in Europe and see how we basically go up against the other teams in Europe. Well, in the Champions League, I should say. Arsenal actually basically ranked second attacking-wise in terms of output, in terms of XG, if you want to count that, shot conversion rate. The only team that is above Arsenal is Real Madrid. But let's just bear in mind, yesterday Real Madrid won their game 6-1. That shot them up on the attacking stats. In terms of non-penalty goals, Arsenal are ranked first in Champions League. In terms of set pieces, you already know, Arsenal are ranked first. Right? So that then brought me on to actually think, wait a minute. Is it just that the Prem teams really do respect Arsenal in the Prem, whereby they have their game plan not to be open, especially in the midfield, especially yesterday against Inter Milan, whereby Inter Milan had 5 players attacking Arsenal at a given time whenever they actually had opportunity to. You know? So that kind of played into our hands. So, listen, all in all, yesterday I gave my prediction that Arsenal were going to win 1-0 prior to that game. But it was very much a good performance from Arsenal, which, if you look at the grand scheme of things right now in the Champions League, Arsenal have played won 7. And last week, there was a narrative, or there has been a narrative making rounds that this year's Premier League is the weakest if Arsenal wins it. Actually, no. After the weekend, I should say, if there is a pundit, I'm forgetting his name, who works for ESPN, who did say Arsenal are going to win the league and Arsenal are going to be one of the weakest champions because of how weak the league is this season. So then that got me thinking. Hence why I basically looked into the stats in Europe, basically, in the Champions League. So then that got me thinking, does that mean the Champions League is also weak? Because the English teams, well, apart from Liverpool, who are basically playing like today, if they do win, the English teams in the Champions League are in the top 10 in the Champions League table, with Arsenal first. So Arsenal being first, are you going to then tell me the Champions League is also weak? It's a very dangerous narrative to actually spin or to actually bring about, because that is crazy. So that is crazy. So whoever is thinking that we need to put that aside, and people that are calling Arsenal boring, clearly were basically entertained yesterday, because in Europe, teams come to play against Arsenal. You know what? Let me just stop with the rant, because it seems like I've not actually spoken about the game yesterday. Listen, let me give big props to Gabriel Jesus scoring those 2 goals, a striker's goal, a good interchanging play at the edge of the box of Inter Milan. As they had the ball, it fizzed it into Jesus' feet. He laid it off to Moreno. Moreno laid it off to Marcelo Skelly, who tried to play the ball across the penalty spot, but it was missed and went straight to, I wouldn't say it was missed, as it slipped, and it went straight to Urin Timber, who had a scuff shot on his left foot, but he's just being a poacher. He took a gamble. Ball fell literally right in his path. Right foot stretch, gets a touch on it, and it goes in. I thought it was going to be offside, but clearly wasn't. But then after that, Inter Milan actually grew into the game. But prior to the goal, Arsenal had a good 10-minute start of the game, to be honest. Arsenal were on top. Arsenal were harassing Inter Milan everywhere. Inter Milan looked a bit shell-shocked with the way Arsenal were approaching the game in that first 10 minutes. But then after Arsenal's goal in the 10th minute, Inter Milan actually grew into the game and came back with an equalising goal by Souček from the edge of the box. Arsenal couldn't really clear their lines. It was good. Blocked by Mosquera, actually, who I got onto, who had a very good game. It was good blocked by Mosquera when Thuram went through. Mosquera actually blocked it, and it fell right at the edge of the box. Zubimendi tried his best to block the shot from Souček, but he didn't get it early, and he basically curled the ball around him, using him as a cone into the net. Raya had no chance of saving that. And the second goal from Arsenal, I think past the 30th minute, Jesus from a corner Why Inter Milan letting the two shortest players on the field getting their head on the ball? That's why you know what's funny, yeah? I know it's a set piece goal again, yeah. But teams do know that Arsenal are good on set pieces, but you don't know what set piece routine Arsenal are going to use. And this is something that I've not seen from Arsenal in a while, especially a corner in the back post, heading it back across. Trossard heading the ball back across. Jesus free, headed it in. And that was 2-1. And then Gyökeres coming on, I believe with 20 minutes to go, scoring in the 84th minute. On a counter-attack, actually, where a ball by Martinelli outside of the boot. I think Inter Milan actually had a corner. We got it cleared. It fell to Martinelli. Martinelli looked up. He saw Gyökeres making the run. Outside of the boot pass, Gyökeres got a touch. Saka actually caught up. He tried to use sliding Saka, but it wasn't that much of a good pass. But it fell nicely to his feet. He curled it with a bit of pace. The Inter Milan keeper, Jan Sommer, just couldn't get enough on it. And it went in, and that was 3-1. And I think a lot of mainstream media, like the pundits, are kind of undermining Arsenal's performance in Europe, I should say. And the only thing they basically had to analyze was the set piece, when Arsenal actually have done more in this game too, creating more chances than Inter Milan, having more shots on target at goal, I should say, than Inter Milan in this game. So it's kind of a bit worrying when these people that are getting paid to analyze these games are giving lazy analysis sort of. But all in all, listen, the players that actually wanted to big up Mosquera, especially coming back from injury, not played in like 2 months or so that I've not seen him play. And he started that game, even though he came over Gabriel, Mikel Arteta bringing on Rice, who didn't start actually. Rice picking up a yellow card because obviously he was already on 2 yellow cards. If he was to get the third in the last game we played, that means he was going to miss a knockout game. And if he was to pick up a yellow card in the knockout game, he was going to miss a game in the knockout stage. So that's fine. Mikel Merino also picked up a yellow card. A cynical challenge, really and truly, but we actually already know why, because he's going to miss that other game. He's going to miss our last game next week. But all in all, a very good night out. One player that I actually want to look at too is Marcel Lewis-Kelly. I think playing against Inter Milan, who play with wing-backs, he kind of knew what to expect. So that actually helped his game. Rather than him playing against a direct winger, he basically had a wing back. So it kind of basically helped his game a bit. But I do want to see him play a little bit more. And there's not really that much that can be said, is that we are actually looking good in Europe. And I think the bookies have Arsenal as the favourites to actually win the Champions League. But I didn't want to get, ahead of myself. Even though we are guaranteed to finish in the top 2 in the Champions League. There ain't really much to be said. Apart from that, the only thing I can say is we take each game at a time. As Arteta bangs on about, focus isn't on this game. And Arsenal fans, actually, before I come, Arsenal fans, let's maintain down. Let's cool down. Let's add context to every game. I know it's disappointing with our form in the Premier League right now, but let's add context into games as well. Actually, there's one more stats too. Arsenal are the only top flight club to ever play 4 away games in 4 different competitions. So before the last weekend game we played against Nottingham Forest away, Arsenal had played 2 games away before that. So we kind of have to give ourselves a little bit of a grace with that performance, even though we should have won. All right. But then yesterday, we turned up. Weekend now is against Manchester United, which I'll do a preview on Friday, because I actually want to know what players are actually back from injury, because I know we're still missing Calafiori and Hincapié. So let's see. Until then, one game at a time.
Take the yards.